Hey folks, welcome back. This is Chris in Central Pennsylvania. It's June 16th, 2025, Youth Day in South Africa, a day meant to celebrate uprisings of youth back in the day during the apartheid era. But the South African Human Rights Commission issued a media statement today, a press release, in which they attack people for free speech. Let me read the statement and give you my comments on it. The South African Human Rights Commission has taken note of social media messages urging violent operations on June 16th against foreign nationals. We have already alerted the National Commissioner of Police and will keep these calls under close watch, reserving the right to pursue charges under the Cybercrimes Act 19 of 2020 should they amount to criminal incitement. Now, what exactly is the role of the South African Human Rights Commission? Is it not to hear cases in which people have been abused because of their race? Now they're actively involving themselves in the criminal code of South Africa? Is that really their role? Maybe it is. I'm not sure that's what their charter says. But I also take issue with people who are using social media to urge violent operations. But they offer no examples of this. They simply make a statement threatening South Africans and trying to intimidate them against using their voice on social media. Free speech is largely still allowed in South Africa. Not entirely, but largely still allowed. So this is, while the Commission does not dismiss genuine grievances about crime and service delivery, we remind the public that freedom of expression does not extend to speech that incites hatred or violence. Really? The problem with that is that the South African Human Rights Commission has zero credibility on this issue. Their actions have shown a clear bias and a clear effort to harm South Africa's minorities over and over again. The rush to judgment in the Hank's Old Irish Pub case, their demonic obsession with Ronaldo Kho's educational video from 15 years prior to destroy his political career, and a host of other actions on the part of the South African Human Rights Commission prove that they're not neutral. They are biased, and they're biased against minorities. So who are they biased against in this statement? I don't know. Anyone trying to incite violence should be stopped. That is a criminal act in South Africa, as here in the United States. Should not be tolerated. But making such blanket statements against free speech without any substantiation is a bit disturbing. And as far as their concerns about, we remind the public that freedom of expression does not extend to speech that incites hatred or violence. Really, in a country that allows a song to be sung by politicians to incite and whip up hysteria against ethnic minorities with Kill the Boer, protected by the courts. The same courts that in 2003, over 2 decades ago, determined that this was hateful, harmful, criminal speech that incited violence against minorities. Now suddenly it's okay because it suits your political narrative. So that's okay, South African Human Rights Commission, as well as a South African music producer calling white people genetically inferior, women unable to bear children, whites should be chained like dogs, they're canines. That doesn't incite racial hatred and violence. The person who committed those offenses was taken before you and not even taken to a court proceeding, didn't have to go bankrupt, didn't have to raise money to protect themselves, and you dismissed it rather quickly. And while we're at it, what about Nobs and Kesey? What's happened to Nobs and Kesey's racially insulting comments about colored South African flight attendants on a Fly-Staff Air flight in late December 2024? Nothing. Nothing. What's the update on that situation? The unbalanced, racially bigoted positions of the South African Human Rights Commission are nauseating. Nauseating. Now, I agree with that commission that no one should be pushing for violence against anyone. It's a criminal act. This seems less about what's right, moral, and just, and much more about the South African Human Rights Commission's selective outrage. Selective outrage. Zero credibility from this organization whatsoever. Nobs and Kesey, a certain music producer, and a host of others South Africans get away with saying the most vile, repulsive things against minority South Africans, white Afrikaners in particular, with no consequences whatsoever. A mealy-mouthed apology jokingly laughed about while read on air, while someone else had to raise hundreds of thousands of rand to defend themselves for something that wasn't even a criminal action, shows the clear bias and lack of objectivity by the South African Captured Human Rights Commission. It's an organization that should be disbanded or seriously reformed, because it is not there to protect the rights of South Africans. It's clearly there to oppress some South Africans. Because I guess it's our turn to eat now. Let's say you, South Africa. Cheers.